So, maybe this will be the last video of the night, who knows. But, I've been thinking a lot, and I think the most important thing in life is to be able to find a way to move on. And seeing as how there's a 50-50 chance whether or not I'm going to be able to move on or live past sometime Thursday. I had already decided to move on, and I had moved on. What I made my mistake about was that I thought that this person from the past was able to be reasoned with, and I didn't trust my attorney to handle it for me. I reached out to her and told her, look, we don't have to do this. You go your way, I go my way, because, you know, self-delete is going to be a heavy option if you push this to the point to where I'm going to get incarcerated again, because I really can't take it. I can't handle it. Please don't do this. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I don't want to bother you, but please don't do this. Let's just be adults. And she turned that into the DA, or state attorney in Florida. They're called state attorneys. So the state attorney, Gabriela Rivera, signed the petition or the motion to revoke my bond and send me back to jail. And that's indefinitely until trial, whenever trial will be. And that could be next summer, that could be next year. So, this woman that's doing this to me, I take accountability for my actions. I should not have reached out to her. I should not have thought that we could be adults about this and handle it any other way. I didn't want to have any more communication at all whatsoever with her. I had been told that she had gone homeless and was in need of housing. I offered her a house to stay in case that were true. But other than that, I didn't want communication. Along with asking her to please reconsider this and telling her I can't believe it's come to this. I just want to go my way. Please, just let's stop doing this. And you go your way, I'll go mine. I guess that angered her or something. I don't know. I wasn't trying to undermine the court. I was desperate and trying to avoid having to rely on my attorney, who I had no confidence in, because for 3 months I heard nothing from him. And in the past 3 weeks, he's been like a screaming gerbil running around. Ah, we're gonna get that done, we're gonna get that done. And I don't function that way. I can't function like that. That's not the way I operate. I don't do things at the last minute like that. I plan things all along. And, he feels guilty as hell. And any chance he can get to point the finger at me, he loves being able to do that because it makes him feel better. But at the end of the day, he's the reason I did it. I didn't trust him. And I don't trust him to handle this on Thursday. I love him to death, but I don't trust him. Not not to be able to figure this out. But anyway, what do you do when you don't trust your attorney? Apparently not what I did. Don't do that. No matter how much you used to know a person, if you have money, if money's involved, they don't care about you. They want the money. The only way for this person to, file a lawsuit against my estate is to have me arrested, have me incarcerated. And whether I live or die, it doesn't really matter to her. She wants to be able to sue the estate. Now, she'll look you straight in the face and say, I don't give a damn about his money. But everyone knows that's bullshit. It's always been bullshit. She said that since the day we met. And I'm sorry, but the reason she left me, she told me, you have to leave. You have to go live with your dad or something. And kick me out with less than 24-hour notice is because I allowed her to go to mediation for my products liability case. And in that mediation, she wanted me to at least ask for $4 million. These people weren't even willing to hand over $100,000. They struggled to get from $50,000 to $75,000. And she wanted me to ask for $4 million. And when I couldn't get there, she got in an argument with my attorney about, he asked her, he said, well, what is it you think Bennett's entitled to? And she felt like somebody had cut her throat when he used that word. And she said, I think he's entitled to justice. And my attorney popped back and said, you want justice? Go to church on Sundays. We're here to do business. And with that, she sat down, folded her arms, kicked her heels, and didn't say anything else hardly. When I asked her opinion, she told me, I can't help you. She literally checked out of the mediation the rest of the day and didn't say another word. When we got home, walked through the door, went back to her bedroom. At the time, it was our bedroom. Shut the door, laid down on the bed. I still had the attorneys contacting me saying that, the other side hasn't walked away from the table. They want to know what will it take for us to meet up in the middle. And she calmly said, you have to get out. You have to go live with your dad. This was my 8th and final exit from the home. Okay. This hinged upon the fact that she didn't think that I was going to be getting any money. It was all over money. All of it. For her, it was always about the money. It was never about anything else but the money. It was only about the money. And when she thought it possible that I had not received any money, she kicked me to the curb. Um, it's just the way it worked. Now we spent another month talking and stuff and sorting stuff out, and I was telling her what was going on with the case and how, February 29th we have mediation again. It's they expect it to go a little bit different next time, and it did. But I don't think any of that ever hit home to her. I think that she just thought that I was bullshitting her, which at that time I wasn't. But I won't lie. There'd been a couple times where I bullshitted her before about uh, not necessarily dates, but like, or really even amounts, but just like when things should play out overall. Um, I had been told that they were hypothetical dates, that stuff could happen, uh, but potentially they were hard deadlines, and then they would come and go, and something always kind of came up. Something was always held up here and there. The legal system is a process. It's a slow process, unless it's putting me away, because this happened real fast. So, um, so I admit my wrongdoing. It was wrong when I knew that they were potentially not hard deadlines. They were soft deadlines, and they were missed. And she was pissed. But part of me always felt like she really had no right to be pissed. She didn't lay in the hospital bed. She didn't have to relearn how to walk. It's not on her. She claims to be suffering. I mean, if you're suffering that bad, I went to work at Walmart. Why didn't you go to work? Why not go to work? Get a real job. Go to work. No, that wasn't in the cards for her. She wasn't interested in that. I never saw that woman work unless it was for my company, painting, or my friend Jordan's company, whom I helped build his painting company. Other than that, never saw her work. It's the truth. Um, at the end of the day, I mean, you can say what you will about my choices and what I should or should not have done. Trust me, I'm beating myself up over it. I really, I really think I was a moron to think that there was a real human being there that could, like, seriously. I mean, especially after turning in that kind of evidence, which I still had not looked at by the time I contacted her. I mean, I hadn't looked at it very much at the time I contacted her. I didn't want to look at it because it's so bad, because it's such a lie, that I didn't want to see what she had done. And I had somebody that was looking at it for me and telling me, and it was just the things that I was hearing out of it were just so egregious and just horrific. Her threat of death claim was that I had stated that, this is your life and it's ending 1 second at a time. One of her all-time favorite movies was Fight Club, And everyone knows that line from that movie. And she knows damn well I was quoting it to her, just trying to get her off her butt to go react and get out of the situation she had put herself in so she could save her home, her kids, her family. Not even necessarily the relationship, but just those things alone would have been, if she would have gotten off her butt and gone and done that, I'd have been proud of her. I'd have been very proud of her. We wouldn't have had to. I didn't care whether or not we kept dating. I cared what the outcome of her life looked like. It mattered very much to me what she was doing, that she was throwing it away. You don't want to be with me? Fine, don't be with me. Don't throw your life away. Please don't do this. Please don't throw your life away. That was my point. Um, no, no, she wouldn't hear of that. And instead, she knowingly, knowingly deceived the court, saying that she was afraid for her life from me. That is a knowing deception. She knows. She knows. The only way she doesn't know is if whatever she's done to me is as egregious as what I would later find out it actually was. Because at the time, I didn't know that she'd stolen $240,000. I do now, but I would still never harm her for that. Never. I don't think anyone understands how much I love this person. I used to put my hands on her shoulder before falling asleep and pray to God, thank you. Thank you for having her in my life. I cherish this woman every night. We were in a parking lot. I never failed to keep her away from traffic, put myself between her and any moving vehicle, ever. Not once in 4 years. I never failed to get her door. This person walked around the apple of my eye. She wasn't the most beautiful woman in the world to People magazine. She was the most beautiful in the world, woman in the world to me. She was. She has since destroyed all that. And that's fine. That's her right to do that. She didn't want to be with me anymore. That's totally fine. But in the process of all of this, what she did do is she cost my mother a chance at having a home. My mother is 75 years old and has a broken hip. Now, I can't do anything about the broken hip because she's too old for them to operate on. They're scared she'll die on the operating table. But I was trying to put her in a home. And right now, you know, I had the money set aside in the account for when it was time to go to closing. And then twice we were going to go to closing, and both times it took about 15 days to put it together. Both times I turned around and the account had been completely drained. Both times. The house I was buying her was $105,000. Both times I had $120,000 in the account. Both times I let it sit there for 15 days without spending on it. Both times applebill.com hit it every 4 seconds for $5. That business was registered on her internet service provider. If she didn't take it, someone under her roof did. If Gasson doesn't live there, then she took it. If Gasson does live there, I know he took it. They stole my mother's house from her. And now my mother is living in a cold warehouse in the middle of winter at 75 years old with a broken hip. Tim Gasson did this. What I have and what I own, I had the ability to buy because of my injury. These people did nothing. She wasn't even supportive. For 4 years, she was never supportive of me. I was supportive of her. She never was supportive of me. At one point, she told me in front of her children, "My money pays for the toilet paper you wipe your butt with." And I only owed her $11,000 max the whole time between my mother and I and what she lent her card out, her credit card out for. I only ever owed her $11,000 max with interest. The rest of it was on her. I paid her back a little over $17,000. How she lives with it, I have no idea. But they stole $240,000 from my account. Specifically, it came from her IP address. The business was started there, and they kept billing me. They did it twice. Twice I was going to go to closing for a house for my mom. Twice they stole the closing money. So don't hook your card up to your Cash App or your Cash App up to your banking account. Don't do it. I was ripped off. And then they stole my identity and used my Cash App account for illegal gambling online and got both accounts summarily closed and my PayPal. Chime. This woman who is sending me to jail destroyed, absolutely destroyed everything I had in life. She went to my ex, the mother of my children. She went to DCF, Department of Children and Families, made up lies. One of them is an accusation that I sexually abused my child. Could you imagine how you would feel if someone said that about you, about your child, when you know there's no chance in hell you would ever do such a thing? I used to lay awake at night and cry because my sons were ripped out of my life. And she would listen to it. And she told me, let her sons fill the hole in my life that were left by my own. Just love them the way I loved my own. She said, it's safe to do that. So I did. The last I saw of her sons, they looked at me as if I was a pedophile. They wanted to absolutely beat the tar out of me. And I had no explanation as to why. I have no idea what she said to them to get them that angry. We had great relationships. I don't know what happened. A lot of this, I just didn't know what happened. And I wanted to know. And so I started investigating, and what I found out was that there was a man by the name of Timothy Gasson who came in and blackmailed, extorted, and destroyed my family life because he saw a picture, he saw a photo on Facebook of me and the petitioner at her daughter's baby shower last in the summer of 2023, and it absolutely infuriated him that his little sex toy would take a photo with me like that. And so he set out to destroy my life. That's the crux of what happened. He wanted to take away my family life. First and foremost, we have to back it up because they both had already met by that time. Going back to March of 2021 was when they decided that they were going to get together and take whatever they had to do. They were going to take my settlement money. And so she called me up to invite me back into her life once they'd figured out that plan was theirs. So I was always set up for failure when it came to this person. And when this person called me back, she did so knowing that she had the intent to steal. I have been told by someone close to them that the plan was for her to marry me, get so close to me that I would believe that I didn't need to get a prenup, which she did. She accomplished that easily. I was very stupid and thought I didn't need a prenup. Not when it came to her. We were too close for that. I absolutely thought she was in it with me for life. I thought. Even though she had emotional problems that tend to cause us to have to take breaks, I thought she was slowly getting better from all that, and that eventually that would just disappear and she would grow out of it. I was an idiot. Always get a prenup. Always get a prenup. You always will need one forever. Anyway, the plan was for her to marry me for 18 months so that the marriage could not be contested in the state of Florida as being fraudulent. And then she was going to pick a fight with me one night, going to her parents' house for an alibi, leaving the back door unlocked, while three men would come in 2 hours later, knowing that I wouldn't lock the door behind her. They would stab me to death, and they could have anything in the house they wanted to take. Well, that's the plan I heard that they had for how they wanted to handle it. Her and Tim Gasson. She would have gotten 80% of my money. She would have gotten another 10 million in life insurance claims. For real. And somehow she still figured out a way, even after leaving, to do me in. So she can still collect her $10 million from life insurance, I guess. There's two $5 million policies out there that I didn't sign. They have my name on them, but I didn't sign them. They're absolutely not mine. When I turn up dead and life insurance policies are cashed out in my name, that's how you know this was all intentional. This is a scam ran by Timothy Gasson. The insurance agent they bought the policies through is a friend of Tim's and has helped him with several of these claims. One of them was in Lake City, a man by the name of Timothy Musgrove. If they go back and do an autopsy, I guarantee you they'll find something like fentanyl, trace amounts of fentanyl, cyanide, something along those lines. He was poisoned. He didn't die of a heart attack. He was poisoned. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that Timothy Musgrove was murdered. You look across the United States, you'll find certain things stick out. In the South, we have autistic kids being found in ponds. Nonverbal, autistic children turning up in ponds. Like they're attracted to water for some reason. But every time you find this, if you go back and look, if you were to retrace Timothy Gasson's footsteps, see where he was on those days. Every single time you'll see him, he was in the area. He did this. Sometimes he did it for money. Sometimes he did it because either one or both parents did not want to deal with a nonverbal autistic child. I truly believe this. All it would take is someone to look. This has gone on in the South for the past 20 years, especially around North Florida. Anywhere where Timmy goes gambling at, like Biloxi or something like that, on a business trip or something, you'll find it. You'll find a correlation. All you have to do is look. Timothy Gasson is a killer. He really is. And he really is the person behind the Boston art heist. But all of the stuff he's done, if you look at it, the way he executed all this stuff, I hate to use that term. I'm talking about the deaths of children, but if you look, he's kind of a jerk. Like, who would cut the canvas away from the wood it was stretched on to create the painting with a box cutter? Only a moron. Only an absolute moron would do something like that. Yet that's what was done to Storm on the Sea of Galilee. That painting is destroyed. There's no way somebody did that, then rolled it up like a concert poster, and it still exists. It's powder now. He destroyed it. One of the greatest paintings ever made in the history of mankind, and this moron numbnut destroyed it. And he is that kind of stupid. He's cunning. He's cunning. He's very cunning. He's probably good at chess. But he is a moron. And all it would take is for somebody to seriously stare this guy down and look at his behavior patterns. And you'll catch him. Why doesn't the FBI arrest him if they know that he did all this? I don't really know. I don't have an answer for that. I suppose maybe they think it's easier not to make waves. But at the end of the day, you know, he did testify in a case against one of their own. At least that's what it appears to be. And maybe there was a lot more going on there than they care to have anybody else know. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But this man's gotten too big for his britches, even if he did put Kevin Connolly, whatever his name is, from the FBI that was friends with Whitey Bulger, even if he did help put him away, that doesn't make him impervious to the law. That doesn't make him above the law. It shouldn't. At some point, the Bureau should have to look at this guy and say, yeah, he's gotten too big for his britches, thinking that he has carte blanche to do as he pleases out here. He's involved in all of these rackets. We kind of need to do something to step it up a bit, because he's kind of out of control. And I think that they have recently. I think they really have. I think they've gotten to the point to where he is a liability more than an asset now, I believe. At one point, I did think he was working for Israeli Mossad, but I only think that he's working for Mossad in the capacity of like an associate of some type, doing jobs for them to earn money. I don't think that he's intelligence. My idiotic private detective, I only say he's idiotic. I do love him, but I mean, I had to fire him. But and he is lazy, but he told me, you know, Gaston's a ghost on paper. I said, ghost? What do you mean ghost? He said, I mean, he's a freaking ghost. He's off the grid completely. As much as you can be. Which means either intelligence or a gangster or both. You should run. I told him, how am I supposed to run if he's hounding me every night? And he said, well, you need to just get off Facebook. No, I'm not going to get off Facebook just because this guy is preoccupied with wanting to fuck with me. I mean, I'm not running. Well, I'm sure he thinks that I'm getting what's coming to me now because he warned me. And that's fine. Maybe I am. But somebody out there is going to see this and they're going to pick up the mantle. I'll be dead, but they're going to pick up the mantle. They're going to pick up the cape and cowl and they'll have him arrested. One way or another, Timothy Gasson will face justice. He will. Absolutely. Not a shred of doubt in my mind, because good people exist. There are good people in this world. And they do exist. And they will not let this rapacious asshole get away with what he's done. So, I don't really have very many people watching my videos. I'm good with that. But someday, people will watch them, I think, if YouTube doesn't take them down. And they will be interested. This will go down as a part of crime history, Boston crime history, Jacksonville crime history. People will look it up. They'll wonder. I'll be long dead by then, having been killed in Duval County lockup by this man. And Gasson may be 80 years old by then, but if he's alive and I'm not, you guys go after him, okay? And I'll tell you what, I'm going to print up every single thing I have on him, and I'm going to leave it with copies. And y'all need to do your research and find out where you can pick them up at. But one of my attorneys is Ryan Peters, and the other one's Mike Hare, and another one is Chris Moore, and one of them will know how you can get my copies of the evidence, and you can go after them yourselves. It's going to take this kind of generation to generation pursuit until this asshole is taken off the streets. It's what it's going to take. See, I openly talk this way about him, right? He hasn't come out to sue me. He keeps sending messages for me to shut my effing mouth. But he hasn't come out to sue me for defamation of character. Because then people would seriously have to take a look at him. Then he really would be on the grid. And his actions would be closely examined. But I'm telling you, go on Facebook and look up Tim Gasson. Look up Lori Maddox. You can see pictures of Tim Gasson by looking up Lori Maddox. Or you can write me. I'm going to put my email in the comment section, or well, just below in the description. You can email me. As far as I'm still alive, I'll send it to you. But I go down on Thursday, so write quick. And thank you for watching. Someday, this will be like, don't fuck with the cats. And we'll catch them someday.